First Lawrence Bank invites you to experience banking at its best. Whether you have personal or business financial needs, we're a full-service bank, big enough to handle all your banking needs and small enough to provide you with that personal touch you've grown to expect from a community bank like First Lawrence Bank. Looking forward to your future. That's First Lawrence Bank in Dublin and Dexter.
flexible as I used to be.
And now that we have him officially addressed, let me share a little bit about Derek. Derek Moore, Georgia Tech's team chaplain and developmental coach for 13 years, is a well-known public speaker as a member of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes organization. Author and former NFL football player, Moore wears many hats in his role at Georgia Tech, serving as a spiritual leader, motivator, and a counselor for the Yellow Jacket student athletes. He helps provide assistance in the areas of leadership, team building, relationship development, and personal fulfillment. His pregame motivational speeches have been well documented on YouTube. Moore played in the NFL from 1992 to 1997 with the Atlanta Falcons, the Detroit Lions, and the Carolina Panthers. With the Lions, Moore played alongside Hall of Fame running back Barry Sanders. As a starter for the Panther, Moore still holds the expansion rushing record for a running back. An All-American at Northeastern State in Oklahoma, Moore set the NAIA single-season rushing record in 1991. At Northeastern State, Moore was given a unique opportunity to be a keynote speaker at his own graduation in 1992. Following his senior season, Moore was the most valuable player in the Hula Bowl and the Blue and Gray All-Star Games. He was born on October 13, 1967 in Albany, Georgia. Is that right there?
That's correct.
Is it Albany?
Albany.
My wife's from Cordell out there. She's, you know, there's a little saying there, but I want to make sure we got it right, okay?
Right.
All righty. But Moore is married to his wife, Stephanie, who has written more than 35 books. The couple is proud parents of 3 children. I want to tell you, I've had a chance to listen to Derek several times. Over the last several years, he came to Dublin, probably, I don't know, maybe about 10 years ago, and did a program at the First Baptist Church for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and we had area high school football players there from surrounding counties. And I believe there was about 300 or 400 there, and it looks like there's a lot more in this room tonight, or today. But I want to tell you, Derek is a very motivational type spiritual speaker that is going to bring a lot to us today. And as a community, I want to tell you something. I'm excited about Derek being with us today, and he's going to bring a good message, and I'm sure you'll leave here excited because Derek knows how to get everybody fired up. Well, I want to thank y'all, and Derek, if you'll come forward now.
Good afternoon. I will say, Mr. East, those 10 years have come and gone, and I'm older, fatter, and bolder. I don't know if they told me that would happen, but nonetheless, it really is an honor to be in your fair town this afternoon. I want to extend my thank yous to the Dublin Rotary Club for this kind invitation. Have me come and be a part of this tremendous event, this St. Patrick's Luncheon. And this being your 50th, I would imagine all the previous events certainly captures memories and experiences that will last a lifetime. Yours truly is 48 years of age. I'm but 2 years younger. And I don't know what that says about me now, but I'm getting up there. Again, I want to really say thank you so much for having me here, and it's a real honor to be here. I would like to compliment those young people to my left and right earlier, that big band performance. Weren't they spectacular? Give them a It's outstanding. Of course, the choir sings so beautifully. I don't like to pass up many opportunities to really cheer for young people as they mean the world to our present and our future. I'll speak more extensively in a moment about some young people of my own, but I wanted to compliment those young folks for that tremendous entertainment. Bebe Thomas was here I hear some year ago. And I hear he shelled down the corner. Well, he's a young man that I've had the good fortunes of mentoring for his tenure at Georgia Tech, and he's doing fine things on the next level in professional sports. And I must text him when I'm done with this event and tell him how difficult he made this for me. So I'll look forward to doing that. It is a real honor once again to be here and been asked to share at this 50th. And I said that makes me 2 years younger. And I will say that in places I've spoken over the years, it's always neat to meet new people and to hear about their town and their city. And I travel the country extensively, speaking in as many as 30 states a year for various groups. And this one's no different. But you all look so wonderful in your color green. And it certainly is appropriate for this event. And so I thank you, Mr. East, for putting me in the proper attire for this event. I'm going to throw my wife under the bus. She gave me that brown jacket. Nevertheless, it's neat to be here. In my 13 years at Georgia Tech, I can't say that I have seen it all, but I do know about a fundamental understanding of a lot of things that's taken place in my 13 years there. One being that UGA has whipped us in football 11 of those 13 years. And I thought I'd get a... But this past season was certainly a different experience when you consider the squib, the kick, the pick, and the pooch. It's not often such a strange turn of events take place in a ball game, but it certainly was one of the more entertaining games of my 13-year tenure. And certainly, it's always good if at some time you can call the darn thing a rival and beat your darn rival. It's been unfortunate that Georgia's been the hammer and we've been the nail. And so it was neat to have that experience. Coach Rick is a really good friend of mine and a fabulous human being. And certainly a great leader of young men and a fine football coach. And I know all of you Georgia enthusiasts appreciate Coach Rick. Certainly I do. But I thank you for this opportunity. I will say that Mr. East talks about how much he really loves his community and how excited he gets when he talks about his town. In my email correspondence with him, he shared, I'm going to talk about you just a moment, Mr. East, your fine president. And he joyfully talks about this community, the community of Dublin, the fine people of Dublin. You know, our communities are made up of roads and buildings and houses and lands and water and so many factions, but those things are not really what makes a community. But what makes a community is the flesh and blood that exists within its boundaries and its limits. And Mr. East was quite articulate in communicating the most outstanding people in this room and what you mean to this community, to this club, to this event, and the fine representatives you are to the town of Dublin. And I could not help myself but to be inspired by his passion and his excitement about this experience. And so I thought I would just take a moment and sort of jump on the bandwagon of Mr. East and talk about with you just for a few moments the three things in my life that excite me the most, that really cranks my motor and gets me going in the morning until the sun sets. That is the reason why I exist and why I get up in the morning. And these three things I wear on my sleeve. They are embedded in my heart. I bleed them constantly. I am madly in love with all three of them. And I'll take just a few moments to express my appreciation for each of them. I would even find that you would have a similar appreciation for these very particular three entities in your own life. And so if you would indulge me just for a moment, I want to attempt to tell you just a few moments about my three greatest passions. And the three things that excite me much like the three things are this excitement for this community that you've expressed to me via email. Well, here they are. The first would be my excitement, and there are no words to really put it in proper context, but it leads me to tell you about these three things that get me excited. And I can talk about them for an eternity. And the first is my family. My family gets me excited. And some say that at the end of the day, that's all that you have. It's your family. And I've had the wonderful privilege of being married for 22 years to my wife, Stephanie, who is a national published author with Moody Press and Kriegel Publications, and she writes Christian fiction for teenage girls. And I've partnered with books with her in the past, and we've come to experience life together as a couple, as a husband and wife, and she's become the love of my life. And I am less of a man without her. And she is a passion of mine. You want to get me fired up? Talk about Miss Stephanie. Oh, I love her tremendously. She does know this one thing about me that allows me some freedom and liberties. In my home, there is a little foyer you walk into. And every August, I go down to my basement and pick up this little picture frame, bring it to the foyer, sit it on this little easel. And Miss Stephanie, whom I've been married to for 22 years, loves me tremendously. And we're inseparable. But she recognizes something unique about my character. That when the leaves in the fall begin to change colors, and there's a little thing called a pigskin that bounces funny, she knows things begin to change. And it's a neat little picture frame that sits on the easel that reads like this: "For we interrupt this marriage due to the start of the football season." And so we've been interrupting our marriage for quite a few years. And I often leave her with that last comment, "I'll see you in January." I have 3 children. My son, Dustin, is 20 years of age. He's in college. He went to college at Kent State University, in Northeast Ohio. Well, Mama didn't appreciate that very much. She counted the miles and said too far. He counted and looked at the temperatures and found it was too cold. And they put their heads together and came up with this brilliant idea that they would come back to the South. And so my son's a sophomore currently at Kennesaw State University. They're up in North Georgia. And I call him my prince. He is adopted. We adopted him. He was 3 years of age. A very difficult family experience of losing his biological parents to death. And we've embraced Dustin. His name was Leon Thomas. And through the adoption processes, we were able to see his name change to Dustin Leon Moore. And over the years, we've loved him. And we've painted pictures for him of what a stable home looks like, what two caring parents will do for you, what a faith-based belief system will do, and a vision of loving thy neighbor, you would love yourself, will do to impact your world. And Dustin has grown into a 20-year-old man. He's one of the loves of my life. And just yesterday morning, I was asked to come speak to the Kennesaw State football team, and there he was sitting in the audience with his teammates. And I can't help but go back to the first time I saw him at 3 years of age. And I fell in love with him. Skinny, tiny little fella. Didn't seem to have any joy. And God gave him to us. And we've given him back to God. And what a past 17 years or so it's been. It's been quite a ride. And my prince is up at Kennesaw, finishing that portion of his life. And my challenge to him is that you will never forget what God's done for you. And you would go do for others what's been done for you. I have 2 daughters. Sydney going to Mississippi State next fall. That other bulldog. And Sydney's a cheerleader and golfer and president of the senior class at Heritage High School. 3.9 GPA and just an outstanding student and wants to be a TV anchor lady. And so she's in broadcast journalism and speaks eloquently. Very intelligent young lady. She didn't get that from her daddy, I promise you. And I'm thrilled to see her go as she prepares to leave in July to go to Starkville. I'm going to drive her up to Starkville and I'm going to hang out for 3 weeks after she registers. She's a darling. And then there's Sheldon Ashley, my youngest, whom I can tell you, Mr. East, that painfully, she wants to go to Georgia. Pastor, I need prayer.
She saw the light.
She saw the light. Oh, mercy. And so I've got this visitation this spring to go to Athens. Huh. And so she says, Daddy, you know, I love Georgia Tech. You're a heck of an engineer. She says, but I like those Bulldogs. And so we've got to go to Athens, and off she goes. I love Stephanie, Dustin, Sydney, and Sheldon, and Mr. East. I'm passionate about those folks, much like you're passionate about Dublin. The Rotary Club and all these fine people in this room. I'm also very passionate about the Institute. I love Georgia Tech. And I can tell you, from Dr. Peterson's office to Mike Babinski, our athletic director, to Paul Johnson, our head football coach, and most importantly to our student athletes at Georgia Tech, I've been given the most incredible privilege of serving them for 13 years in many capacities, all of which has been designed by the hand of God to be an encouragement to them through their experiences as professionals, but also in their experiences personally. As I've gotten the opportunity to do weddings and, unfortunately, funerals and to sit in homes of parents and encourage them in regards to their young people and all the sort. And I think I'm probably most famous for my antics on the sidelines at Georgia Tech of encouraging our student athletes. And I can tell you, people often ask why I am so passionate. If you hadn't found out by now, I'm a pretty passionate kind of guy. I'm not yelling at you, I'm just excited. And I can tell you, I get excited about our student athletes because I live it with them Monday through Sunday. And on a Saturday afternoon in Bobby Dodd Stadium, you know, I have the good fortunes of knowing their private world and the confidentiality of their experiences. And I know when a young person has just lost a parent or a sibling that's just come from some devastating experience, or the young person struggled academically in that week or had a difficult experience with a coach. And they've been in my office for encouragement and counseling and support. And then to see them on Saturday, I ride the emotional roller coaster with them because I know where they've been. And then to see them smile and be encouraged is a real passion of mine. And Georgia Tech has afforded me those privileges. I am undeserving of them. I don't deserve the years that they've allowed me to be there. The University of Georgia has folks in that position as well. And I can certainly say to all of you, I am the product of a campus minister who saw me when I arrived at Troy University and became an All-American in football. And I went to a campus meeting on a Monday night, and my mother was extremely concerned about the college experience. And I was so blessed to have met this ministry team. And they invested in me tremendously, and I am the product of their passion and love for Christ. And the things that are good about this world. And there's nothing about me that resonates righteousness or godliness. But I can tell you this, there were some fine people that invested in my life. And I'm back on the college campus as a result, giving back to student athletes what was so richly given to me. And for the 3 of my children who are headed to college, my highest prayer is, yes, I want them to graduate with a degree in some field so that they can compete in a competitive marketplace. But I'm also praying daily that they would bump into a pastor. They would bump into an FCA director or some campus outreach minister that would touch their lives and never let them forget that they were raised in a home that truly believed, for this house is the Lord's house. It's my prayer for those guys. And that's my hope for the student athletes at a UGA or at a Georgia Tech. Because at the end of the day, the only thing you and I will be left with is the Word of God and the souls of men. Which leads me to my last and final passion, and that is my faith. And for it is the reason that I exist. I believe when a man, a woman, boy, or girl finds his or her purpose in life, you'll no longer exist anymore, you'll live. And I can tell you this, that over 20 years ago, I found my purpose. Why I'm here. And I can clearly articulate that to you but I don't have the time. But what I will leave you with and articulate to you is that I am a firm Bible believer, Rotary Club, from South Georgia, Albany, who lived with a mama that when I left home said she would be praying for me. And I didn't arrive to this podium on my own merit, but I am here because of the prayers of a mother who prays for me still and told me a long time ago that there is a God in heaven that loved humanity so wonderfully and came to a depraved world and left the side of a holy God, was born of a virgin, was accused of being God, and he was, and he is. Lived a sinless life, went to a rugged cross. My mother told me this. Hung on a cross and died a horrible death for you and for me. Suffocated to death. And it's fitting we march into Easter and be reminded of this most gruesome experience of what is my greatest passion of all of them, and the thing that excites me the greatest. And that is that he died and was buried in a borrowed tomb. And according to the scriptures and the words of my mother, he laid there 3 days. And the Bible says that he rose on that third day. Yeah. I always say to the skeptics or the unbelievers, I'm just so sorry, but it is true. I'm just so sorry, but I'm not speaking to the Rotary Club based on just what I read. I'm telling you what I've experienced. And I'm here to tell you that I have experienced the love of God through Jesus Christ, who died on a horrible cross, was raised on the third day. And you know what? I can tell you this. The Bible says he ascended and that he is seated at the right hand of the Father. And you know what? He watches over the affairs of the earth. And you know what? There's absolutely nothing out of his control. And don't you know something else? That no situation in your life and in mine is an accident. No, it is divine providence that this unbelievable, high, holy, majestic, awesome, incredible God of the universe loves you and me. He does. And Rotary Club, I'm excited about it. Can't you tell? And the greatest event in all of history will happen sooner than soon. And that is, he will come for you. Don't you be overly discouraged over the affairs of this earth from someone who knows it pretty good. I can assure you of this. He has not forgotten us. He's coming for us. And you hang in there. And I'll hang in there. And that great event is going to happen where he'll come for the born again. He'll come for the body of Christ. And so, as my grandfather used to tell me, I'm going to run home a little further so I can see what the end's going to be. I already know what it's going to be. And so, Mr. East, to the Rotary Club of Dublin, I love your passion and your love for your community, for your people, for this organization. Love who you are and where you're from. I've never forgotten Albany, Georgia, and I never will. And I'll never forget who I am. I am a father. I am a husband. I am a loyal friend to the Institute. I am a son, an adopted son, much like my son, Dustin, of the Most High God. And I've got good news for you. Hang on. You ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till he comes. God bless you.
Outstanding.
Pick up the pieces. Here we go. Lose our audience. Here we go. Ready? 2. 1, 2, 3, go. Amen.